What up, everybody? Yesterday I talked about how the Power Universe would be completely different if Tariq would have chose to go with Ghost's plan to frame Dre for Ray Ray instead of Tasha's plan to frame Kanan. I talked about how that plan would have most likely worked and how Kanan and Ghost would still be alive and most likely Tommy Egan would be the one who is dead. Tariq would have still never gotten expelled from Cho, and he may still be even working under Kanan to this day. With that said, Tariq wouldn't have had to attend Stansfield and tutor Zeke Cross. Therefore, he would have never met the Tejadas. But it would be likely that Reek would be at some college still pushing weight for Kanan. Today I want to go back a little bit further and look at the root cause and talk about the power death that changed everything. And that is the death of Raina St. Patrick. In my opinion, this is the most significant death from the whole Power Universe. It's right up there with the death of Ghost himself as far as the impact it had on the show. And though I personally don't believe Ghost is dead, but for the purpose of this video, I'll roll with him being dead. Go ahead and tell me who you think was the most significant power death in the comments. So let's go ahead and take a look at the circumstances going on just prior to Raina getting killed. Tariq had just been a part of a robbery gone wrong where a lady ended up getting killed. Ray Ray already killed the two guys Tariq was working with. Because of this whole situation, Tariq was ready to go ahead and leave New York and move to Connecticut to go to school at Cho. He was attending one last dance before leaving. The night Raina was killed, Ghost was receiving the Destroy Injustice Man of the Year award, and it looked like him and Angela was on track to hooking back up. Angela had just been named the head of Criminal of the Eastern District, and Tasha was occupied that night hooking up with her new man, Terry Silver. Tommy was going through some issues around the time because Dre and Cristobal had just taken his organization from under him and were now working with the Jimenez. Kanan was laying low in DC after just kidnapping Tariq, killing Jukebox, and walking away with a bag full of money. I always wondered if Kanan was going to visit Jukebox's girl Candy while he was in DC, and if that was part of the reason why he killed Jukebox. While all this was going on with everyone else, Raina stepped outside from her dance and got killed by Ray Ray. As a result, it put a hindrance on both Ghost and Angela's relationship and Tasha and Terry's. Then Tariq killed Ray Ray, and it made things even worse, primarily because he used Tasha's gun. Plus, Tasha had Angela track down Tariq's location. So because of Tariq killing Ray Ray, Angela started getting her hands dirty, and this is the whole reason why the feds included her in the RICO investigation. Ghost and Tommy went hunting to find out who killed Raina, but instead Tommy found out that Dre was the one behind the Toros Locos killing Julio, and that Dre was actually playing him the whole time. Then Kanan came back to New York and had two Taianos hitters waiting for him. So Ghost, Tommy, and Kanan all united to kill Dre, who had protection from the Jimenez. Then Jason rolled up on Ghost, Tommy, and Kanan and enlisted them to actually kill the Jimenez, pulling Ghost back into the life again. So while this was going on, Tasha and Angela were now secretly working together, doing whatever it took to keep the feds' radar away from Tariq and the St. Patricks when it comes to Ray Ray's murder. Raina's death did put a hindrance on Tasha and Terry's relationship, but it didn't cause them to separate for a while. On the other hand, Ghost and Angela never ended up hooking back up again. All the while, Angela was the head of the Eastern District, but her office was hiding information from her because they didn't trust her. If she wasn't helping to keep Tariq out of jail, the feds would have never been able to look into a RICO case. All they had on Ghost at the time was one female witness, Maria Suarez. Then because the feds were getting suspicious about Ray Ray's murder, Tariq and Tasha set Kanan up to die and take the fall for Ray Ray. While this was going on, Ghost and Tommy had a plan of setting Dre up and planting Diego Jimenez's head at one of the clubs Dre managed. So now Kanan was dead and Dre got demoted in Alicia Jimenez's organization. Because of that, Dre then set Alicia and Cristobal up to get arrested and basically spent the rest of his life after that in the system. At this time, because of the investigation on Tariq, Tasha, and Terry's relationship was basically now over with after Terry skipped town for a few months. Then the Rico case went down on Angela because all the dirt she did to protect Tariq. But keep in mind, even with that, unless the feds would have gotten somebody to snitch, they didn't have a winning case. And because of this Rico, Ghost killed Terry Silver, and Ghost and Angela were meeting up at their old school where Tommy killed Angela, gunning for Ghost. Tommy didn't shoot Angela because of the Rico, but he was aiming at Ghost for setting him up to kill his own father. So Teresi was the wild card involved here, but if Raina wasn't dead, you got to think that Ghost and Angela would have already been back together. Ghost would have been out the game and clean, and things would have looked completely different at that point in time. Terry, Kanan, and Angela would have all still been alive, and Dre would have still been running the Jimenez organization and proceeding with the expansion to Paris. No telling what Kanan would have been doing because he wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet Jason under different circumstances. Things would have even gone differently with Lakeisha Grant. Her and Tasha's relationship didn't start going downhill until Tasha asked Keisha to start lying to the cops. And the night Tasha killed Keisha, the whole reason she showed up at her house was to make sure she was not changing her alibi about Tariq. Tariq would have went off to choke with Raina still being alive and would have never got the opportunity to steal the pills from Tasha that he gave to Braden Weston to steal, and might have never even gotten into the game. Or most likely, he would have eventually hooked back up with Kanan and possibly got back into the game at Cho anyway. But keep in mind, Ray Ray would also still be lurking around somewhere. Plus, Reek might not have got the wake-up call he needed to get off the lean, and he might have fallen deeper down the path of drug addiction. Ghost might not desire to become a politician if things were different and he was still more focused on his clubs than the QCP and building a legacy for Raina, because the QCP just started out as a minority development project with Simon Stern as the silent partner. And we know if this whole situation didn't happen, Ghost wouldn't have had to threaten to turn Tariq into the cops, and Ghost would most likely also still be alive. And either though Dre had stolen Tommy's organization from him, Tommy was in good with Vincent and the Italians. It wasn't until Tommy got Vincent's godson killed in a hit gone wrong that eventually burnt the bridge with Vincent. If Raina doesn't die, this whole situation goes a lot better also. So to think if Raina would have survived, Power might have actually concluded with a happy ending. Ghost and Angela might could be married, and Tasha and Terry might could also be married. Dre would be running the Jimenez business in Paris. Tommy would still be moving weight for Jason through Vincent. And Tariq and Raina might be going to college together somewhere. The Tejadas and Noma, out of sight and out of mind. And there you have it, the power death that changed everything. Let me know if I missed anything and leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.